But I suppose now is the time. Get started. Welcome, episode 3 of the Kino Corner. This might be a shorter one than previous, because we'll be talking, as you can see in the bottom right, we'll be talking about Charles Band, a person that I've discovered over the past 2 weeks. No one knows who that is, but but
He's a filmmaker. He's that's a term.
yes,
He makes the films and doesn't afraid of anything.
yeah. For context, as a preamble, he has a special out that is on Tubi. And free context, everything he has, almost everything, is on Tubi for free to watch. There's a few things I'll recommend before the end of the episode. Definitely just experience some of the stuff yourself if you can. But for context of how weird he has a special with Roger Corman where they're referred to as the Kings of Cult. So you can kind of understand the type of movies he makes. For
Yes.
be affiliated with Roger Corman and to have a brief spotlight series hosted by William Shatner.
What?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Shatner himself?
The Shatner himself.
Oh my god.
The Shatner himself. But before we go into that, there is the usual stuff we need to. Let's go. Let's dive into a lot of trailers. I'm gonna do something a little different. I know the last 2 episodes there was some, oh, hello Draco, hello, how are you? The last 2 episodes I had a playlist. There's not gonna playlist right now because I'm going to try it this week and see if people like it to go forward instead of just trailers. Because there's only like 2 or 3 to talk about. I'm also going to include
Yeah, movies got canceled, guys.
yeah.
The movies are done. There's
Uh,
no more movies.
but to actually make it a playlist, I want to include movies that we talk about in like the whatever prominent movies we talk about during the big brunt of our Charles Band talk. Um, and I want to keep that going forward. Like say like during the video game episode, here's like new trailers, but also like here's a trailer for like the Mario movie or whatever. Then that'll kind of because I noticed last week, like the first week we did this, it was fine. There was like 11 trailers to talk about. The week after, there was like 5, and this week there's like 2 or 3. So I quickly picking up. Okay, like some weeks are going to be slow. I need a solution.
Right.
So that's going to be the solution for that. No playlist yet, but when this is uploaded to YouTube, there will be a playlist attached to that with trailers that we talk about, as well as trailers for the Charles Band movies we talk about. All right. But speaking of trailers, uh, first one, because I guess it's so different than what we're going to talk about later. Uh, Trap.
Yes. Trap. New M. Night Shyamalama movie. Shyamalan.
M Night Shyamalan Ding Dong. I was just telling you before we got into here, the way I experienced this trailer, I didn't even know what the movie was called. I didn't see anything before it, any marketing or anything. It was actually part of a YouTube ad. I watched the trailer, and I got to experience everything fresh. And that's why I don't want to talk too much about the trailer because I feel like if you know the twist is kind of in the twist is in the trailer, but like the
I think
core.
there's going to be a different, like, crazier twist
Oh, for sure.
because I feel like if he's revealing that, like, in the trailer, there's going to be even more batshit one.
Absolutely.
But basically, the only premise that I think the best way to put the premise is that there is a concert for a pop singer, and it's being used as a sting operation to catch a serial killer.
And yeah,
And that's probably the best way to explain that.
that's the best way to explain it. But to explain why it's engaging, take what you know, watch the trailer. Don't read the comments. Don't read the description. Just watch the trailer. It is like because I got to experience fresh. That's it. Like put me into the mindset of oh crap, this actually looks really good. I kind of want to see this, but it might not be for everybody. And I've been burned by M Night Shyamalan before, so who knows? who knows where this one will go? But mark me down definitely as excited. It looks very. I don't want to. This is gonna sound cheesy. It looks thrilling.
Well, Mark being scared and horny.
Oh, yes. Like again, there's not much to say about that one without going into speculation or ruining the trailer experience. So I guess that will end there. But the next two trailers are definitely more fun to talk about. Deadpool Wolverine, Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. Oh my
Dude, it
god.
looks so good.
It looks
I'll be here
it looks so
100% for that.
and the villain that's in the trailer, like, I know that I'm kind of jumping to it, but one thing I want to is the villain in the trailer is apparently in the comics is like the evil clone of Professor X or some shit. And
Uh okay.
or like his evil I don't fucking know. And but knowing that, it does put one kind of scene to like I appreciate more because I watched like the end of the trailer where she's like doing her weird little hand wavy thing and manipulating Wolverine, and her facial expressions. I realized, you know, for a second that does look like McAvoy for a second, and now knowing that it's like a sister of Charles Xavier, I'm like, okay, that's some pretty stellar casting then.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Uh,
I I'm looking it up right now because I was just gonna go into the movie not knowing anything, right?
oh yeah, like I stuff gets spoiled on Twitter, and I'm gonna try to go into it
Yeah.
with as little knowledge as I can. People are making speculation, like I'm if there's another like teaser or short, I'm probably going to ignore it, especially because it's so close to showtime. But like because this has a lot, this like the Ant-Man's like suit, probably skeleton, the other possible mutants that are there, the fact that this Wolverine is in his fucking yellow suit.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know if you noticed this, but someone had to point this out, but the fucking like giant like thing that they use as like a base or whatever, that head, I didn't realize. I was like, that looks really cool. I didn't realize that was Ant-Man
You didn't?
giant and it's this fucking skeleton.
Yep. Oh man, I was like, oh, this
I
is
didn't put
grossly
that
morbid.
together.
Um, the one thing that people are suspecting, and again, I, I like theories, but I think that sometimes they go too far. This one is kind of they might want to stop because I feel like either they're completely right and they're kind of ruining parts of the movie, or you're completely wrong and you're going to ruin it for yourself. I think people are kind of trying to solve the plot, and because there's a shot of did you see Loki, like the show?
Yes.
You know, at the end of season one, that big smoke energy monster thing that kind of eats everything in that in between world.
Uh-huh.
In the trailer, there's like a brief glimpse of that. So the thought is that that's where they are for a chunk of the movie.
Oh fuck. Oh fuck.
I know, and that's as much as I want to read into that. Like that's where my line is. Like, okay, that's a cool thing where that might be happening. I want to know why and how, and that's the stuff I want to find out when I watch the movie. But
Yeah. Holy shit.
yeah, and again, that's
I'm so excited for this movie.
oh for sure. Like I I don't think Marvel movies have been like they're not god awful lately, but there's definitely a decline. And I wanted to
Yeah,
oh,
agreed.
I want this to bring it back at least enough to if they're gonna do the Kang Dynasty Secret War stuff for Avengers, I want them to finish it. I want them to like keep the front up to finish it because this needs an ending. And this might be cynical, but I think Endgame should have been the end of everything, honestly.
Because it was such a great buildup. It was such a good, like, it was basically perfect
Yeah.
in how it was executed and whatnot. And I just don't know how they're going to top it.
They, I can only think of one way they can, and it's going to be like it's the most direct, it's kind of satisfying, but I guess it depends on how they do it. It is basically imagine an Avengers assemble on a multiversal scale. Like the only thing I could imagine. But that would
Mm-hmm.
require the return of certain actors that they're kind of unclear on. Or hell, do what the Flash did. Actually bring in like Tom Cruise as Iron Man for a cameo.
Do you get fucking weird with it?
Hmm. Dude, if honestly, I don't know this, but if there's some actors alive that were in like Roger Corman's Fantastic Four and they made a fucking cameo, that'd be fucking awesome. That would be fucking awesome.
Dude, that would be such a niche reference,
Yeah, right?
and almost like no one would get it, but I'd be there for it, and I would respect the shit out of them.
Griffin asks, will Hugh Jackman wear the cowl? Uh, I don't know. Probably, but who knows? I mean,
You probably have it for a little bit, but they're not gonna,
yeah,
because you know they just don't like letting actors just be in a cowl or a mask or anything like that.
yeah. Like I think it'll exist, and I think he'll wear it maybe in like the beginning or maybe during his third act backstory. Wink, wink. But
Right.
but I think what people are ignoring with that is we're so for Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, we're so specifically used to him not having the cowl. So I would really
Mm-hmm.
only want it for like a cameo, kind of like, oh, he's there for a little bit. There, here's the cowl. Anyway, uh,
You know, yeah, people wanted them to have the original suit for the longest time.
yeah. And to be fair, it looks fine. Like it looks great on him. Um, it would almost look. Is it a hot take to say it might actually look worse with the cowl?
You know, it was funny. I was just on Twitter not too long ago, and there was a someone did what was it? Actually went and actually tried to CGI it on. And it was like a professional guy too that did it, and it actually looks pretty good.
Really? Okay. I mean, if I'm wrong, it looks awesome and cool. But
So I think it would work, but
okay, I mean,
they're just not really super inclined on being able to
yeah,
be so comic book accurate.
yeah. It's like I want to see it, but I like this is very clearly like Ryan Reynolds had a lot of pull in this movie to make the movie he wanted, and he's a for the fans guy. That's
Uh-huh.
so it'd almost be weird if the cowl wasn't in the movie. You know, that could have been one of Feige's things, just like the cocaine bit or whatever.
Oh my god, yes.
They have a list.
A whole list.
Oh,
I love that the blind lady was in the Fallout show.
she fucking was. Wait. Oh
She was
wait.
Betty.
Oh shit. Yeah. Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Oh fuck. As soon as you mentioned that, I started putting pieces together. Fuck yeah. All right. So I'll follow the show in a bit, but there is one more trailer to talk. There's not much to talk about with this one, but recently Brendan titled there was a Kickstarter trailer for Wild Zero 2. It's not a movie that's coming out. It's a Kickstarter project. But I wanted to spread the word because holy shit. It really reminds me of like Kung Fury and those types of vibes. Just like, oh yeah, this is just gonna be fun and extreme in the best way possible. I'm here for a drug trip, damn it.
I am here for a good time, not a long time.
I'm here for rock and roll.
For rock and roll. See, now I want to watch the first one
Same. Like,
with how, if it's anywhere near as goofy,
I hope
as
it
what that
is.
trailer showed.
God, I hope it
Like,
is.
obviously, there must be a reason behind it, like with how much of a cult classic it is,
Yeah,
or one of the, like you said, is like a Kung Fury type film.
yeah. I think Kung Fury goes weirder, but it is still that type of comedy. God, with Kung Fury, it's like you know everything you need to know about Kung Fury in like the first 30 seconds of the trailer.
Yeah.
Like a guy flips a skateboard under a police car and flips it, shoots at the car, and explodes, and then you see Hitler as Kung Fuhrer. Like you now know
Yes, as the main
exactly.
antagonist.
Yeah, you now know exactly what you're in for. Buckle up.
This is the ride. If you're, you better get off now.
Yes. I guess probably there's not a lot to say about it. I only really wanted to talk about it because it's a fun Kickstarter. It's on Brandon Tunnel's channel. Of course, I'll link it in the playlist. But I don't
And
even.
so I guess the band that stars in it is like, this is just like their like a little personal project or something like that or whatever.
Yes.
Like there's some Japanese like rock band.
Oh yeah, and I love that bands in Japan can do. That's just like the one thing that I know there's a lot of cultural differences, but one thing I think Japan does really good is they love their actors and music. They do.
Yes.
Like they're usually while careers are not like super long lived unless they're like megastars. Uh, most of actors and musicians are fine with it over there because they're getting the money and everything. I still hear about actors and like freaking Super Sentai and Kamen Rider that like retire from acting at like in their 30s because like, oh, I got enough money, I'm gonna go get married now, bye everybody. Seriously, that just happens, and like they just live a happy life with enough money from that point on. It's like, well, shit. I kind of wish that in the states, like, we had something like that where a person could just do a film, get enough money from it, where they don't. If they want to continue, it's more about their passion for film and not just all this bullshit about we have about like actor strikes and writer strikes and not giving anybody enough money unless they're a top billed actor.
Right. If the fact that the art aspect of it is just thrown out the window, and it's just like, you just let them cook.
Yeah,
Not everything has to make a fuck ton of money.
exactly. It's okay to just get your money back with a little bit of profit. That's okay.
Right. Everyone's just like trying to go after the next big blockbuster instead of just like
Oh yeah.
making a fucking goofy ass movie or whatever.
Oh yeah. And that brings us to new and
Because we
recent
can't have
films,
fun.
which there wasn't a lot of new and recent stuff. I guess I I want to talk a little bit about Fallout, but I don't want to go into too detail. But it is if you haven't watched the Fallout show,
It's so
oh
good. You need to watch it.
oh
You need to know nothing about the Fallout series. Although if you do know enough, or if you played them, there's a lot to appreciate.
yes,
And it's just a really well written, well acted show. It's got a lot of stuff. It does a good job kind of building up things, and the final episode is such an absolute hat drop of an episode that I'm so curious what they're going to do with the season 2, which did just get officially announced that it's happening.
yes. There's so many moments that like the opener of episode 1 alone was just like fuck. You could probably hear a pin drop in my apartment while I was watching that because I was just enthralled and just in the moment it created it. Like when I don't even want to say what happened in that opener, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, that
Um,
first 20 minutes was
oh,
awesome.
it's up there. That 20 minutes could just be a short about just the disaster of just nuclear war and just damn like that. I I want to avoid spoilers in every way possible. Like it's easy to talk about this stuff with you behind closed doors, but if I say one thing, it'll just spiral out of control. But at the end of the day, it is a very good show. Don't have to know anything about Fallout, but if you do, it'll only help. And And one thing about the characters, this series is smart enough to have well written characters without them necessarily being good characters. Not like good,
Yes.
like they're not villains, but they're not heroes. Like these people clearly have their own motivation. Sometimes they're together, most of the time they're not.
Yeah,
And
they have their own agendas, have their own reasons for doing what they're doing and all that stuff, and they are unapologetic about it.
yeah,
And does that make them good people? Absolutely not.
yeah,
Does it make them good characters? Yes.
yeah,
Makes some fucking awesome characters.
but yeah,
And I think what I like is that I want to say that the three characters embody the different karmic the good, neutral, and evil
mm-hmm.
type characters.
Oh, 100%.
Although maybe less evil, more like still very much like a neutral evil, but like yeah, no, for the most part, it's like I think they kind of like fall in there
That's,
and all that stuff.
the ghoul is basically the embodiment of that meme. Big Dick Marty stalks all of Texas. Fuck you, New Vegas. You're next.
Yeah.
Oh,
Awesome character.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck, I love that character.
I love all the characters. Like I don't think I have a favorite. Like I think they're all fucking fantastic.
If there's a character you don't like, it's probably intentional because the series doesn't want you to like them because they're despicable, like the snake oil salesman. That's all I'll say about him. he's the kind of character he's like, oh, you piece of shit.
Right. He's like a wild wasteland perk. He just pops up randomly and you're like, oh god.
He's just the human embodiment of just all the negative wasteland perks. Oh man. Well, have you seen any movies in theaters recently? Because I haven't, unfortunately, but I know what has come out recently.
I have yet to watch anything else currently. Although there are some that I do want to watch. Oh gosh, Annabelle. Is that what it was? No. That's the fucking not that one.
The vampire girl. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, and I knew the title like 5 minutes ago.
I fucking had it. God damn it. Abigail.
Yeah.
That Boy Kills World.
Oh, is that out? Wait, I thought that was
it's out.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, it's out now.
Oh shit! I thought that was coming out till later.
I want to go see Alien because they re-released it. The Mummy got released for its 25th anniversary too.
Yeah, it did.
The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare.
Yes.
Looks like a lot of fun. I still need to go see Monkey Man as well.
I do too. Like I Monkey Man I may wait on, but again, that's just because I didn't really get a lot of the marketing hype for it. Well, not that I didn't get it. I just never saw the trailers before we talked about it last time. But I want to see it. But there's other things to me that take precedent in theaters. I wish I could see Mummy in theaters. If it'll be there throughout the week, I might make time after work one day. If apparently had a really strong opening weekend, and that has looked fun for me, so I might want to see that.
If which one was that one?
Ryan Reynolds' Imaginary Friend movie.
Yeah, that one.
I
got that one and Imaginary mixed up.
No, oh god, imagine. Did you watch that yet?
No, I liked all the trailers I saw though. It looked kind of creepy.
It is. It kind of goes places. Like I said, it doesn't go anywhere near as weird as Malignant. Because let's face it, what can? But
I loved Maligma.
Ligma Bull?
I fucking like. I was definitely one of the people on the other end of the spectrum that was like, nah, man, this movie's fucking peak. Like I fucking love Malignant, dude.
Dude,
Like I loved how like it was unapologetically like that, like it goes, especially with the twist towards the end.
yeah,
After the twist happens, the movie's like, oh my god, this movie's like way fucking better.
yeah. No,
Um,
I'm with you. Like for the
yeah,
for part of Malignant, I was like kind of like, all right, I'm digging it. It's not that great, but I'm digging it.
you know,
And then it starts
it's
getting to the
okay.
twist. I'm all fucking in. We're having a
Yeah,
time. We're having a fucking time. Let's fucking go.
yeah. Like
Um,
that. What's that Italian horror called again?
Suspiria.
Yeah, like that. It's like that. It's definitely it took a lot of Giallo. That's what. Yeah,
Gallo.
Giallo. I believe it's or I guess it's Giallo. I guess is if you're if you say it the proper Italian way. Um,
Gallo. I don't
but that the who's the guy that fucking directed that movie? He was the guy that did like create like Saw and all that shit and
Oh shit.
all that.
I,
He very much like showed the love of those kinds of films
yes.
with that one. And like I appreciate that. I when I know it's a genuine like I you can sucker me into any awful movie if you are genuine with the film. You know what I mean? Like whenever you're sitting there and it's like you're making the film and it's like I am putting this squarely on my shoulder and saying, "Yes, this is how much I love these films and I get them and it works." You can always get me with any movie, no matter how bad it possibly is, because it's like, you know what, you tried, and I like that.
I am so glad you said that. I can't think of a perfect segue line to switch to it, but genuine is the perfect word for Charles Band.
Yes,
Um, uh, his movies are not good. If you think you don't know Charles Band a lot, some people watching that saying, I don't know who the fuck that is. You do. His most notable film is Puppet Master, without a shadow of a doubt. Like that is the
yeah,
film that everyone
yes,
attributes to him. He has made other movies. You might be aware of his more schlocky material, like Killjoy, Killer Bong, The Ginger Dead Man,
uh,
Demonic Toys, including Baby Oopsie, A Doll Man. There's a lot of movies involving dolls and characters. That's a weird thing he does, but but he,
I wonder why. I wonder what that is.
I don't,
Maybe he just
I
really likes miniatures
I think so. Because and I think I'm going to
and
lean
puppetry.
towards that because the movies I watch. I in preparation for this, I was on Tubi throughout the week. I watched five. One I won't talk about. It's a Puppet Master sequel that I do remember being bad, and um, it was there because not every full disclaimer. Not every movie Charles Band has made is good, but most of them are really fun. To me, you can enjoy things like Ginger Dead Man and Evil Bong. You can enjoy that side of him and just the schlocky, dumb, cheaply made movies. But and the side I wanted to focus on is his earlier work. Is there you mentioned before the podcast? Was there any movies of Charles Band you have seen previously, like at all?
I've definitely seen clips of because I think that's why my love of like film comes from is like my dad was big in like those kinds of movies and he definitely instilled that whole idea of like if the movie is fun, you're being entertained, and it in the general idea it sets out what it's supposed to do.
Yes.
So I definitely have seen clips of like Puppet Master and all that stuff. He might have held on to a couple of copies of it. I don't know if he had at all. But I definitely like saw those. I definitely like so, I mean it's not a Charles Band film, but like a Critters and all that stuff,
Oh yeah.
He had like all those kind of like those kinds of films. So I've definitely seen clips and different scenes, in my childhood. I never sat down to watch them all because they never, one, my mom was one of those people that's like, he's not allowed to watch them. My dad was the cool dad where he was like, hey, you want to watch heavy metal?
Hell
Don't tell your mom.
yeah.
that was one my favorite memories as a kid. I was 6 years old. We had
Fucking
just got back.
wait, hold
Yeah,
on. You were 6?
dude, I watched heavy metal way younger than I should have. But yeah, no, we came back after watching episode 1 from the theater, and he was just like, "Oh, your mom's still at work and all that." He's like, "You want to watch he's like, "You want to watch a really cool movie?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, just don't tell your mom." And he puts in fucking heavy metal, and my life is forever changed.
I'm just trying to imagine a 6-year-old watching that. I just imagine like you're there, you're sitting on the couch, because you're 6, your legs aren't reaching the floor, Happy Meal in your lap, you're eating your French fries, your dad puts on heavy metal, and you just see guitars and boobs, and you're just like, oh.
Dude, it is crazy because I was one of those people that was like, I was a kid that was just like, oh, cartoons are for kids kind of thing. That was always
Yeah.
instilled in my head and all that. Now I know better, of course, but he very much like that was life changing. See, yeah, the fact that an animated show had fucking titties in your face, dudes getting blown up, like fucking like just the amount of gratuitous violence and TNA in that film changed the trajectory of my life and how I viewed films forever. That movie and The Thing I watched way younger than I should have.
When did you watch the? Okay, I know we're talking about Charles Band, but before we get back on that, like, when did you? What age did you watch The Thing? And we're talking about like the '80s one, right?
Yes.
Oh fuck.
The John Carpenter's The Thing. I watched that when I was super young too. And I think that's why that movie still scares the shit out of me, is because I still have like a visceral like fear of that film. Like, can you imagine being under 10 and watching that movie and like just being absolutely just terrified of all? But I couldn't. But it was one of those things where instead of like being like go like walking away or whatever, I was like enthralled and entranced with how horrifying it was.
Yes. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I do understand. Like when you're younger, things that scare you that they shouldn't. I've met people who think that I'm lying when I say this, but like less me, more my brother was scared of Jurassic Park growing up. Like it was only really when he was really young, but I think it was just the raptors that scared him, and I think the raptors scared me too. You know the scene like with the in the kitchen. Like if you're like 6 watching that, that's scary. But you watch it now, it's like, oh, this is just a really cool scene. But no, like when you're younger and your brain's still developing, shit like that, like it just multiplied.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Hello, Sam.
No. That's totally understandable. They're like, there's always like, I think I guess they call it like nightmare fuel or whatever. But you're a kid. You're scared of certain things.
Yeah.
That really is like, oh yeah, you grow up, you're like, really? I was scared of this? I was like, what the fuck? I'm such a dumb kid. I think we all had I guess to add on to that, like I was scared of Mortal Kombat as a kid.
What, really?
That game freaked me out a little bit. Yeah, no, it was just like, blood, it was just like some of the visuals. I'm talking like the OG ones of like with all the pixels and all that stuff. I don't know, like and it's funny. It wasn't like the living forest or anything that freaked me out, but it was like the announcer kind of scared me a little bit.
Oh,
it was like it was weird. Yeah. Just how like how much he like enjoyed, I guess, like watching these people beat the shit out of each other and him like laughing at you and all that. It's just, I don't know, it's like that nerved me as a kid. Yeah, no, I just thought that was just to add on to like, it's definitely not unheard of like kids kind of getting freaked out over that.
No, it's not unheard of at all. But that's just why, like, if you're a kid, don't watch a Charles Band movie. Some of them, I think they're right in that category where as adults we're not scared by it. But if a kid watched something like Dolls or something like that, they would be scared. I guess the 2 horror movies I really want to talk about with Charles Band are Puppet Master and Dolls. Those are the 2 I watched. Puppet Master is his most popular film for a reason. Like the puppets.
It's just called Dolls.
There's a movie that's just called Dolls. He made it earlier.
Oh, there it is.
And I honestly, I think it's better than Puppet Master.
You think it's better?
I think it is because Puppet Master's puppets are iconic. They are.
Right.
Like when he designed those puppets and he made them, he struck fucking gold. Like those are like, I would put they're not like as big as some like Freddy or Jason, but if you have like a list of like some of the best horror icons, these should be mentioned, you know?
I'm looking at the box art for it. It is kind of creepy.
Yeah. For dolls.
I'm a sucker for like 80s like box art.
Oh yeah, because
I don't
they
know what
went
it is about it. I
ham.
love
And
it.
sometimes it doesn't
They
have
would.
a whole lot to do with the movie. Like one of my favorites is
Like
Monkey
Galaxy
Shine.
of Terror.
Fuck.
Has nothing to
Oh my
do. Not a
god.
single one of those monsters show up in that film. So
Where's the maggot on the fucking box art, huh? But
yeah, right, yeah.
but oh god, we're derailing. We're derailing. No, but
It's
puppet.
on the same page,
Yeah, yeah.
Charles Dance,
It 100% is. But you mentioned like
band, not dance.
yeah.
Different actor.
And band dance same thing.
Charles Dance. No, I'm thinking the guy from Game of Thrones.
So we mentioned earlier that he does a lot of stuff with this like dolls and toys and smaller things. I think that's because every account of people who have met Charles Band, every interview I've seen with him, excuse me, he is just a big kid. He loves what he's doing, and I remember seeing. I don't remember which Puppet Master this was for, but I remember seeing a documentary about just like a making of thing when he
Uh-huh.
directs the when he's doing directing and kind of telling everyone what to do. He does not look at the puppeteers once. He is having a dialogue with the puppets.
Okay.
And like I see him basically going on, he's like, "All right, Pinhead, I need you to like, well, you're gonna like move your arms like this because you're gonna kind of start lunging at her, all right?" And then and the actors and puppeteers love it because they just see it as so endearing. Like he knows they're there. Like he's not
Right. Yeah.
psychotic.
He's not being like a pretentious prick about it, but he's
Yeah,
directing them as if they were those
yeah,
characters.
and because it's so endearing, and he's like putting that extra love in just the doll, and like the joy comes through. The one consistent thing that's in all of early Charles Band movies, including early Puppet Master and even Dolls, a lot of the like the rod puppetry and stop motion is good. It is technically impressive, especially for like the 80s and 90s.
For
Like
a low budget 80s, 90s
yeah, for
at that as
sure.
well.
Yeah. The joy comes through the doll. It does. It does, Butcherson.
Show me on the doll where he touched you. The joy comes through on the doll.
Yes. Dolls are so creepy. They are creepy, which is why you should watch Dolls like. But but no, it's um as a movie, like I know Puppet Master is iconic and it's his most popular because of the dolls themselves. The concept of just like five killer dolls. Um I mean, for God's sakes, there's like 10 Puppet Master movies. That tells you everything. But
Oh, there's a fuck ton.
yeah,
Yeah.
while I recommend people watch Puppet Master, the story of the movie it's a bit confusing because it's
Really?
well, yeah, I know, right? But basically, like a group of psychics go to this hotel, try to like connect to this dead puppeteer, Andre Toulon, and and the puppets don't like that, and they're like, oh, there people are trying to mess with our master, and so they slowly kill them. And there's a lot of esoteric dream sequences about who's alive and who's dead, and I think one of them was possessed. It gets weird. It gets confusing. The first Puppet
Okay.
Master
I'm rolling
is
with it, I guess.
yeah. The first Puppet Master is weird. The second one is much more direct of what we think Puppet Master films would be. Of just like, all right, here's the puppeteer. Here are the puppets. Now he's gonna go kill some Nazis. Nazis are weirdly ingrained in the fucking sequels for Puppet
What?
Master. I don't know.
What? What?
I,
Here are some live dolls. They're trying to do this. Also, there's Nazis.
no, seriously, like one of the
See, I'm
sequels.
sold. Like, I'm gonna be here for it now.
One
Like,
of
you fucking
yeah, one of the sequels is called the Tiny. Like I think it's called the Littlest Reich.
hold on. Let me look these up.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Like yeah, there's Axis of Evil, the little. It's so weird.
Okay, so for one, there's 15 of these
Oh
films.
fuck.
There are 15 Puppet Master
Oh.
films. Oh my god, yeah, there it is. The fucking the Littlest Reich.
Yeah, dude.
And then there's Axis of Evil and
Yeah,
Axis
I've seen that one.
Rising,
It is dog shit, but it is
and
fun
then
dog shit.
Axis Termination, and then there's one called Blade: The Iron Cross, which I guess that's
Yeah, there
the
is
main
some
white faced
movies
one.
where they're trying to like revamp it and make it a little more serious. It didn't work. Um, I,
Oh, I see. Okay.
yeah, I think the weird. If it was anyone else, I would call this a tragedy. But if you look throughout his filmography for Charles Band, early on in his career, he did try making movies and he put a lot of love into like what he did. Like he had Puppet Master, he had Dolls, he had some other unique films. Like he was trying, but he kind
Uh,
of nestled into this. Where he kind of realized what he was good at, and he started making campy films. He made intentionally campy films. That's when he started making
right.
things like Evil Bong and Ginger Dead Man and The Ginger Weed Man. I
Not the Gingerweed Man.
and part of me thinks it's a shame because those movies they are bad. They are bad.
Uh,
But he knows it. He wasn't trying to make good movies. He was trying to make some dumb fun stoner flicks with boobs and killer weed monsters. He knows
right.
it, and because he knows what he's doing, and he's just out about like I'm just trying to have fun, man. Like it's hard to be mad at him, and it's even harder to hate his movie.
Right.
But the part of Charles Band I really want to talk about, why I also want to talk about Dolls, is like underneath that childlike facade of this guy is just trying to have fun. He is talented. I think Dolls is better than Puppet Master in every way. Part one, the story is more direct and cohesive. A
Okay.
family and some strangers are in this manor for the evening of this old couple that actually they find out over the course of the movie do practice witchcraft, and they have a collection of basically possessed dolls. And if the people weren't stupid, they'd all be alive. Or basically, they're like, "Hey, I stay the night. Don't be rude. Don't go in the room. Dumb bitches be dumb bitches."
Of
Things start to
course.
go down, and of course, certain characters survive because of Charles Band reasons, which I don't want to get to. I think you should watch the movie, but because it's so simple and direct, he's able to experiment more with like effects and just like the scene itself. Because with dolls, yeah, there's killer dolls, but they're less unique. You know those something like Annabelle, where you have like those old like princess dolls or whatever, where they have like bonnets and like porcelain faces and shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Right. Right. Right.
That's a good chunk of them.
Okay.
And you also have like toy soldiers that there's like a really kind of creepy, not even creepy, it's actually kind of funny where this lady, she's kind of half drunk and she's like, no, says like the evil dolls who deals with that. She opens a door and there's like toy soldiers, like wooden toy soldiers, like playing the drums and like pointing the guns at her. She's like, "What the hell is this?" But it's real fucking guns, and they fire, and
Oh my God.
yeah, and they like fire their little guns, and you just see like what's like, oh, what the shit, and then like some little
What the
shit,
fuck?
and then yeah, some little shit comes in and slices her ankles, and she falls over, and that's like the start of her death. It is it goes
Oh my
hard.
God.
Yeah, no, it like Dolls
That's
goes
fucking
hard.
awesome.
Yeah, like Dolls goes hard, dude. It is a good movie. Um, but like I said, whenever the story is simple, he like everything else kind of falls into place, and like how good his effects are. It's it's unfortunate to say, like you saw there's 15 sequels for Puppet Master. He's good at like making a weird idea, but Charles Band isn't so good at continuing that weird idea. I'm pretty sure he has super intense ADHD because
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
outside of broad strokes there's so many sequels that like don't really connect to the previous films, and he just kind of wanted to tell what if the dolls were here now. It's just kind of things happen. I kind of pieced that together when I was looking at he aside from dolls, I watched another set of movies he did, and it's kind of jarring when I tell you this. The guy who made Puppet Master and Dolls and Evil Bong, but in the late 80s and I believe it was only for the first part of the 90s, he had a separate company because his company is Full Moon Entertainment, but he had a separate company called Moonbeam Entertainment, and that company made children's movies.
That's so fucking funny to me.
I know, and
That is so funny. Like it's just like, all right, I want to make these like bad taste films that are fucking weird as shit. Also, I want to make a kid movie, so I want to make a whole different studio just to make
they
those.
did, and they are good. Um, and I want you to keep it in mind for the what I say about the sequels, because the first of the movies I watched was a movie called Prehysteria. It's a movie that I fondly remember as a child. I watched that shit growing up. It was a good movie. It's not as good as I remember it, but it is still. I would happily show my kids Prehysteria. It is mostly because, and actually, it's a good time to bring this up. His movies are short, like refreshingly short. Most of his movies are like an hour and 20 minutes.
Which barely creeping along the feature film,
Yeah,
yeah, tag essentially.
pretty much. Yeah, like his films are short. They are quick and to the point. And Prehysteria, it's Prehysteria. Like I was so invested. I haven't seen Prehysteria in years. Wouldn't mind a rewatch. It is worth it. If you like Prehysteria, there's another film that I'll talk about in a bit that is worth it. But I watched Prehysteria and I watched the trailers for the sequels. And there's two things in Prehysteria that I noticed when I was watching it. Where they got the eggs for the dinos was actually like a Mayan temple. And this native
What?
warned the guy who took them, like, no, we actually need those. We were warned by the gods that if anything happens, a plague will fall upon us. I never watched it again until the end of the movie, where you see the guy that warned him actually managing to to catch the eyes of the family with the dinos. He's like had this realization, oh no, they're there, and you're like, that is fantastic sequel bait. He's not in any of the sequels,
Oh
right?
man,
Yeah,
to go ahead with what you were saying, he just can't seem to keep a
yeah.
good idea going.
Yeah, because Prehysteria, it's not like a super action filled movie. It's just these kids hatch these eggs that have tiny dinosaurs. He gives them all names. Like there's Elvis, Madonna, uh, Jagger. like you see where that theming is going. But yeah,
Moonwalker.
yeah, and but the Moonwalker. I'm trying to think. Paula, the Bronto is named Paula, and but they are it really impressive. The only one that's kind of is the Stegosaurus because they had with I think it's just kind of how the dino is shaped. You have to put so much emphasis on the spikes. You're gonna have a weird little turd for a head. But
Uh-huh.
every other dino, especially the T Rex, like damn, these are like good looking puppets, and they move really good. And the way they did that with Prehysteria, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is a technique he used in a lot of his movies and why he did dolls because he got so good at it is
Yeah.
he basically built all of his sets on an elevated floor. So all of the rod puppeteers were right below.
Oh, okay.
So like whenever you're seeing a T-Rex, you don't see the strings, you don't see the rods, you don't see any hands for hand puppets. You just see like you can tell it's a puppet, but you don't see what's controlling it. You just kind of see this little T-Rex tapping his foot, listening to Elvis, and munching on
Right.
some Oreos. And it's like, this is fucking charming. Like, so when everything is simple as far as story, just trying to sell like a simple idea, he could let the effects just go off. He could let
Yeah.
like the scene go off. And in Prehysteria, if I were to judge it objectively, it's pretty good. Not nothing to sneeze at. But it's because of the effects, because of just how much charm you could tell and how much charm and passion was put into just making these dinos move and just making everything work right. It comes through with the movie. It's definitely worth a watch. And but there is one movie. The other movie I watched of his is another kids movie called Dragon World. Dragon World is to
Nothing to do with dragon tails.
Nope. Well,
Okay.
it is to Prehysteria what I think Dolls is to Puppet Master. I think Prehysteria is the of his kids movies because I have met people who know what Prehysteria is and nothing else Charles Band. But even
Right.
though Prehysteria is the most notable of kids movies, Dragon World is better in every way. Like when I watched the movie, I was like, I don't remember much about it. I remember the dragon was pretty cool. Rewatched it. That movie was so charming. It was it almost made me mad. Like, this is so fucking good. How did this go unnoticed? And the big thing is, there's no like small puppets for rod puppets. He actually has a big ol' hunkin' dragon.
Oh,
Like, I want you to like look up, and people listening want to look up too. If you look up Dragon World, the dragon's name is Yowler. You could probably find a screenshot of the animatronic they use, which they have an animatronic they used in the movie that's from the neck up to basically when the dragon's kind of looking down over people, and it's a great looking animatronic. Like, it is shockingly good. Like, it
and
might
when did this come out?
not, it was definitely like early 90s.
Okay.
Let me look up the specific date here. Dragon World release date. Yeah, July 1994.
Okay. Okay.
Huh?
No, not the. There's apparently an app on Google Play called Dragon World as well. Probably no affiliation, but I
No,
thought you should know that.
no. And
Oh, I've seen this movie.
yeah, you might not remember much about it,
No,
but
but I remember specifically the dragon.
yeah, I encourage you to watch it again. I really encourage you to watch it again
Okay.
because
I haven't watched it in years, and by years I mean probably this around the same time I watched Heavy Metal.
yeah, I heavily encourage you. It's not a puppet. He actually stole a dragon and trained it for the film. I mean, it looks that good, Butch. It looks that good. Like, I'm not even kidding. It is a
Charles
good
Band
looking
actually
puppet.
got a proper dragon.
Um,
He just owned a dragon. He was like, "Hey, you want to be a star?" and then made him.
God, yeah, but no, the reason, part of the reason it's so charming, and to kind of get you through the opening scene. Actually, to recognize that dragon puppet, I remember being advertised with the movies. Yeah, like, it's a good dragon puppet. But to run you through the opening scene and why I think it's so charming is Charles Band lets actors convey little things. Like, it's a kids movie, so you're like, not everything is just directly like, we have to go here, let us do this to go to the next place. Everything, he just adds one layer above that, where like two people will say something, and that's going to imply an action further along. I know what I'm saying might be confusing, but but
No, continue. You're cooking.
the opening scene, we learn a lot about the kid, because the movie is told in two parts. The first part is when the kid arrives to the castle, and like, he
Uh-huh.
kind of embraces a new life. He meets the dragon. The second half of the movie is like years later when the dragon has grown up, and and the real world's kind of caught up with him, and he has to kind of, I won't spoil exactly what happens, but Chad's Chad's firing off. But in the opening scene, you have this little kid, and the voice might be familiar. It's the kid who voiced Gus from Recess, or not Gus. Gus, the military kid. I don't know, but
Yes,
yeah,
he was.
but it's that kid. And when he gets there, the only thing we know about him is his parents are dead, and the only living relatives are in the Scottish Highlands. So he's going to live with his grandparents, and eventually he meets his granddad, who is old Scottish man, traditional values, but he's not mean about it. He's not pushy about it. He's he's stern without being mean. I think that the actor that got portrays that
Uh-huh.
so well. And when they're driving
That's
home,
hard. That's hard to do too.
yes. And when they're driving home, like, the grandfather knows that the kid's parents are dead, but when they're driving home, first you just see the kid freaking out because this is Scotland, and the kid's like, "You're driving on the wrong side of the road." It's like, "Oh no, that's just how we do it here." And a little bit after that, because like the scene's a few conversations in the car. A little bit after that, it talks about the grandpa's like, well, like, about his parents, whatnot. He
Uh-huh.
opens up a little bit about the accident. He's just like, because and then the kid notices the grandpa has a bag of whiskey. It's like, why do you have that? It's like, the drink later. You don't need to worry about that. You don't be touching it. Like, but if you drink that, like, you'll start driving on the wrong side of the road, like mom. And then the
Oof.
grandpa just immediately realizes the implication of what he just said, and he just throws the whiskey out the window.
Damn.
And, like, that says a lot
Yeah.
about like
Holy
where,
crap.
yeah, like that's a really fucking good scene for this movie. And I was like, what the
For a
fuck?
fucking kids movie of all
Yeah,
things, too. What the fuck?
yeah, it's
That's
portrayed,
so good.
and this is a Charles Band movie. It's
Right.
like it blew my mind. It's like this is a hidden gem. Like more people need to watch this movie. Like I'm sure, like if I were to like really go at it with a hoity-toity attitude, I could poke and prod and just pick at why this movie sucks. But I don't want to do that. The movie is brimming with charm. The actors are great. The dragon effects look great. Ah, but there is one downside to Dragon World.
What's that?
It has a sequel.
Oh.
I have not
And
seen
it's
this.
not good, is it?
I don't know.
Oh, well.
So here's the thing. I have not seen the sequel, and that's intentional for a few reasons. One, the sequel was made years after when Charles Band wasn't in his like what I call his like quality era, where he was actually making like really fun, charming things, just kind of dedicated to schlock.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
so I'm kind of questionable about what happens when it's going on. The other reason is the dragon itself. This is supposed to be kind of the story of in between the events of the movie, where like this is what happens when the kid is growing up, like what happened between when he was a kid and when he was an adult, where he kind of knows about magic and he knows a little bit about the dragon, like what happened there. Not a bad idea, but the suit for the dragon, I guess it looks fine, but
Oh, you know
God,
it's a good movie when the sequel's called Dragon World: The Legend Continues.
yeah,
That's like the fucking like calling something 2000 or whatever. You know it's going to be fucking awful.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. And if you just look up, like, if you just look up Dragon World Yowler, Yowler is the name of uh the dragon. You could see the different because like you could see some images of like baby Yowler and adult Yowler from the first movie, and they look good. But then you see images of the guy in the suit, and some of them are like, "Are we sure this isn't Barney?" God, there was. But the other reason I am so hesitant to watch it is all of that
I'm
adding
seeing
up
that
together
now.
and swirling together. And then I'm gonna say two words to you: Drake Bell.
Continue.
He's in the movie,
I like how
and
the only box art I could find is like the Russian box art.
yeah, so, which kind of shows. I guarantee you, the box art portrays that suit much better than it looks in the movie. I am looking at movie clips right now. It's like, no, 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 no. There's not that much detail. Oh my gosh,
What the fuck?
you see it though, right? Like you see how
I'm seeing it.
like you have Dragon World. It is a gem. If you anyone who ever just wants to watch a fun, charming kids movie, look up Dragon World. That is a side of Charles Band that I want people to see and experience. It is a fun, really.
Oh no.
You
Sorry, I'm watching the trailer.
oh
Oh
you
no.
see why I
There's a
don't want to
scene.
see it.
There's a scene where the dragon's running and it's just a dude in a suit.
You just see this that
Like
weird
it's just
floppy
straight up a
arm thing.
dude.
Just
Yes.
it's,
No.
it's that Godfather meme. Look how they massacred my
Look,
boy.
the master, my boy. Look
Like,
at you, master, my boy.
uh, I, but no, like I want to end on a high note. Like, um, if you watch Charles Band movies, you can watch the sequels after you watch movies if you want. Fair warning, but go into any of his movies with just a fresh perspective. Like you're gonna have fun. watching all of his movies. Even if you're just laughing at how stupid it is, even if you're just
Yeah.
laughing at just how dog shit the effects are, you're going to have fun watching his movies because they are genuine. Good or bad, they are genuine and they are weird. He is a director. He's not the director who wants to like go out and win an Oscar. He's the director who's like, hey, listen, I got you for an hour and a half. I want to tell you a story that's really fucking weird, dude. Come on, let's go. Let's enjoy this shit. Go get the popcorn. He's that guy.
Hey man, I wrote this during my lunch break. You want to watch this?
Yes.
Like he likes make like he is who's that really bad movie creator that they made a movie about?
Oh, Ed Wood.
Ed Wood.
Yeah.
It didn't matter how shitty they were. He just liked making movies.
Yeah. And that's very much like what Charles Band does. Like what type of movies he's made over the years definitely has changed. Like he makes like I think some of his movies that have come out are pretty close to softcore porn at this point. But
Oh.
yeah, but that to me that's even more fascinating because early on in his career you could see stuff like Pet Shop and Prehysteria and like decent horror movies like Dolls, and then it all the way goes all the way down to you see Evil Bong 777. Like, all right. And
Evil
but
Bong.
yeah, I know.
That fucking name is so funny to me.
But in a weird way, outside of Dragon World, like kinda, even then, but all of his films, you could put them all together and you can kind of know. No, no, this guy had a hand in all these. He has a distinct way of making the movies and just directing all of his characters and effects and creatures that it's hard to explain to someone who hasn't watched it. Like everything is so simple, honest, and direct. Not like none of the creatures are super detailed. Puppet to go back to Puppet Master, the puppets aren't really super detailed. They're just wooden puppets, and you can kind of see the furl of the pinhead sweater during the stop motion and whatnot. But because so much care is made to like hide the rods and like how the puppeteers and make sure that puppet movement is as realistic as possible. Yeah, you know it's a puppet, but yeah, like no, now it's even more uncanny because this obvious puppet is moving like a person. That's not normal.
Yeah.
Like he like it's not as prominent in modern stuff. It's why like I really encourage, if anything, if you only are into like the high like quality films, definitely watch his older material. If you're into all movies, good or bad, watch as many of them as you can. But like his older movies, Dolls, Puppet Master, Dragon World, Prehysteria is probably a great that he just lets his imagination run wild and like all the rod puppetry and sock puppetry and just wire that he makes everything work to the point where even if you know what you're looking at is fake, you don't care. And that's to me so magical in a movie. I believe Nick called it the Bollywood effect, where like, oh yeah, you know the effect is bad, but you're having such a good time, you don't care. Like, it's kind of the same as that, but instead of just like you're laughing at just how much of a fun ride you're having, you are charmed by how passionate it.
Yes. Because it's the genuineness of it.
Yes, I I I I know I put Charles Band on the list as kind of a meme, but like I really wanted to, and I'm glad. At first, I wanted to just convey like, guys, he used to make good movies, and I only had Puppet Master and Prehysteria in mind. But when I watched this and I saw Dragon World and finished, I was like, no, I need to talk about this movie. It's a kids movie. It's pretty bare bones and simple. Don't expect a super complicated plot, but like, God, is it good? Like, this is a movie that is, I would show all of, excuse me, I would show my kids. I would like, I think it should, you know how schools will have like a collection of movies to show kids whenever the teachers don't want to do shit.
Yeah.
It's a movie that fits
Put
right
that
in
on
there.
there.
Yeah. Like, eh. And of course, like I said, each movie is about an hour and 20 minutes long. He respects your time. Like I it was very refreshing to watch his movies on Tubi specifically because of the ads, and I know that sounds weird. But because his movies are shorter, it almost feels like they were made for TV. I think most of them were made for TV anyway. Like just sitting in my couch watching Dragon World with like the occasional ad popping up, it actually took me back
Did
a
it bring
little
you
bit.
back?
It took it back a little
Yeah.
bit. It was like, oh yeah, I want to go. I'm gonna go get a Pepsi and just get a little bag of goldfish. We're
Give
in,
me a babies.
yeah, make myself a Pepsi and some goldfish. We're in the '90s again. Uh, I
I'm gonna go get me a Happy Meal.
no, if you take anything, yeah, if you take anything away from this, know that Charles Band, he's a weird guy, and so many people talk to death about the cult movies. And while that's a side of him, I just he's more than that. He has made some of the most charming and genuine movies with just quality effects that I have ever seen, and I can't recommend his old. They're almost all of his movies are on Tubi right now. Some are leaving. It's free with ads, but like I said, for his movies in particular, I don't know. Maybe you feel different. It don't matter. Definitely go watch. Like, if you were to look at all of his movies, Kitty Man, is there any like movie that you think, oh, this looks interesting? Like anything that you would want to watch?
Oh, I just had a fucking thing up. Not Lawnmower Man. What the fuck? Get out of here. Um, Jesus Christ. Cause like I don't know, like put in dance instead of band, not the actor. I mean, cause like again, I need to actually sit down and watch some more of the Puppet Master films, so I'd probably start with those
Oh,
and go from there. And Dolls, you got me sold on that one.
oh yeah.
But I mean, this guy's got just a huge amount of films.
Oh yeah. Like his filmography is extensive. Dolls is also on Tubi.
Oh, he did From Beyond?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he fucking did.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I'd probably go back and watch that one then.
Oh, that's a great place to start. That's a great place to start. Like, uh, look at his list of like if you were to watch his more like horror movies or more traditional things. Of course, Puppet Master is what I'd recommend. Dolls, I would recommend. Uh, Definitely, yeah, From Beyond. But everything after that is hard to openly recommend because it starts to go into the niche territory. Except for Bad CGI Gator. I mean, talk about
Oh, I
honest.
gotta watch that.
Like, talk about
I need to
honest.
watch that.
Flip the script a little bit. If the movie's called Bad, have you watched the trailer for that fucking movie?
Yeah, we sat there and watched it whenever we were going through, and we're like, oh,
Oh man.
yes.
Oh man. Yeah, but no, as far as kids movies, Dragon World can't recommend enough. Prehysteria,
Wait,
definitely.
he did Reanimator?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So
Uh,
I have seen a couple of his films already.
so
Okay.
okay, see, you know his general style. Like none of his films are super complicated. They're pretty straightforward, and then he has some pretty good actors in effect. Like it's a
Yeah.
weird. It's hard when if I say it, it sounds like, oh, that just sounds like every movie. But when you start seeing a bunch of Charles Band movies, the particular way he does it, like none of his films feel out of place with each other. You know?
I know what movie we gotta watch, and I want Butcherson to watch it with us.
Oh yeah.
I want to watch Robot Jocks.
Yeah.
Two men, two machines, two wild.
Fuck yeah. Wait.
In the distant future, mankind has forsaken global wars for battles of single combat.
Butcher's in the chat. No.
Yes, sir. You want to watch some mechs?
Oh yeah.
Charles Band mech movie? Let's go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's so bad.
Oh my god.
Oh. I don't want to drone too on and on, and I did like this is going to be a shorter episode because there's not like I could as like drone on and on about the life and times of Charles Band, but there's countless people who have talked about the other side of him, like the shocky cult filmmaker. And above all else, I wanted to emphasize just how
Sorry, I just saw not to interrupt, but I saw a trivia of on this movie, Robot Jocks,
oh yeah.
and the trivia goes: the screams of the spectators being crushed by the giant robot were later sampled in the song "The Becoming" by Nine Inch Nails.
What? This is an episode of derailment. Okay, I need to process that. Get my drink.
That's fucking funny.
All right.
Anyways, continue.
Oh no.
There's a bit of trivia for you guys. Thank
All
you,
right.
IMDb.
But no, I was just gonna finally a reason to listen to Nine Inch Nails. Yes. But no, like I was just gonna wrap this one up here to say because I don't want to drone too long about it because like I
Of
said,
course.
so every time you see a video on YouTube or something about Charles Band, they will talk about how much of a cult filmmaker there is, or they'll just say, "Man, what's not to talk about?" and end it there.
Mm-hmm.
People will just talk about the fun dumb side of him or nothing at all, and I feel we can't lose this other side of him because underneath that schlocky filmmaker you have this this guy who is a kid at heart who just loves making these weird effects, weird creatures, and weird worlds. Just and he's so genuine and passionate about his craft, even if it is schlocky. And I want to appreciate that and extend to everyone like try some of his movies. You're not getting quality, but you're getting fun. And but with that, I think it's time now to go to the almighty wheel.
The wheel.
There we go.
Show me.
Um, Charles Band has been taken off the list. Instead, we have remakes, and instead, good, bad, whatever. And as the previous weeks, anime films, 80s horror. I shortened this topic to movies you want to see in theaters, but again, that's things that either missed in theaters or that are just so old that you never got the chance to. That's the kind of the idea there. And there's what the fuck did I just watch? Peak 90s aesthetic, which I might after talking about Prehysteria and Dragon World, if I find some other topics, I might take that off next time if it doesn't win. Which side note, if you're on the Discord, please submit topics. I have a few ideas in the back burner, but the more weird and specific topics we have, the better. We have other ideas for the future. But yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just gonna suggest porn parodies, and y'all don't want to watch those. So please put some stuff on there,
I do.
or else you're all gonna suffer.
I want to watch porn. Anyway,
Anyways,
video game movies, which I know we got a lot to talk about, and non Lord of the Rings Peter Jackson. Basically, that's pretty self-explanatory. Every movie Peter Jackson made that has nothing to do with Lord of the Rings, because he did weird shit aside from Lord of
he
the
did
Rings.
some fun fucking things.
So, without further ado, let us spin the wheel. Hey! There we go. Non-Lord,
Oh my gosh!
non-Lord of the Rings Peter Jackson.
Oh my god! I cannot wait to watch some fucking Peter Schlockson.
Yes. Good and bad. There is definitely stuff to talk about there. Honestly, the topics we've been getting have all kind of led into each other very nicely. Have you noticed that?
I know, right? I was just like sitting there, just like, hey,
This isn't rigged, I
this is
swear.
working out very well.
This isn't rigged, I swear. Don't be mad.
Is this rigged? This is rigged?
Here. Let's go to
See, now I'm going and like looking like I know I would definitely watch Brain Dead again. AKA
Fuck
Dead
yeah.
Alive.
Let's see. Can always rehash the or say to peak Disney in the 2000s. Agree about Disney. I mean, honestly, I've been thinking about how to incorporate Disney as a topic. I mean, splitting it up into like three sections, like old Disney, 2000s Disney, and modern Disney might be a way to fit like fill three sections in one. But I don't know, because there's always stuff to talk about with Disney. Let's be real.
Always,
Oh,
without fail. I mean, it's just he's just putting Peter Jackson.
but no, like
Um,
uh, yeah,
yeah.
this episode was shorter than last week's. When I droned on and on about kaiju. Go watch yourself some Charles Band, or and if you don't want to do that in preparation for the next show, which going off my schedule here. Uh,
So, question before we end this off:
mhm.
when we say non-Peter Jackson films, are they only ones that he's directed, or can he produce them as well?
Director, producer, and I would say writer. If he had a heavy hand in the movie, I would count it because I was
All
looking.
right,
Yeah,
cool. Because I actually watched the Mortal Engines the other week, so
perfect. Yeah,
I got thoughts on those too. Because he
fuck yeah,
produced the
dude.
fuck out of that movie.
Fuck yeah, dude. I'd definitely count that. And like I said, I mentioned this the other week. I added non Lord of the Rings Peter Jackson instead of pre Lord of the Rings, specifically because of movies like Mortal Engine and District 9, because there wasn't a lot he did out like post Lord of the Rings that wasn't Lord of the Rings. You know?
Yeah. No, he has a surprisingly small. He's only done like 30 films. He's got a surprisingly small
Yeah,
filmography
he,
for
he
someone who's done such a crazy film
it's kind of
trilogy.
it's kind of the opposite of Charles Band, where he prioritized quality over quantity.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Absolutely. And don't worry, Draco. I got oh, watch it. Yeah, no, we could talk about it next week or the next time.
No, it'll be next time because next week is our Pathfinder. So next
Yeah.
next stream would be on May 12th. Are we good that day? Uh,
I don't see why we couldn't be.
and if there's an update, of course, we'll change. But we'll go live for the next episode about non Lord of the Rings Peter Jackson on May 12th, and this should be uploaded to YouTube Tuesday, Wednesday, as is the kind of normal schedule I set for myself for these.
Mm-hmm.
So thank y'all for watching, and we'll see y'all next time.
Have a good one. Bye.